welcome to the Tune Tapestry, the show where we tug at the threads of traditional and classical music from across time and place and discover the surprising connections around the world. Yes, this is the Tune Tapestry here from the studios of 5EBI 103.1 FM, 10 Byron Place, Adelaide. We're Adelaide's multicultural broadcaster, and I am Rachel Hay. We were looking last week at Christmas songs, and we're continuing to look at Christmas songs. We're only 3 days after Christmas, and if you observe Christmas on the Julian calendar, we're still like a week and a half away from it. So I think I can justify another week of Christmas songs. Last week we were looking at songs meant for congregational singing in the lead up to Christmas. That's in Advent, in the week before Christmas, and at Christmas midnight church services. This week, we are looking at songs that talk about Christmas more generally and that talk about the season that Christmas is in, the weather, the food, all that sort of stuff. We're doing more secular Christmas songs versus the Christmas carols we heard last week. So we're starting in Catalonia, which is north of Spain, with a song from about the 16th or the 17th century. Fum, fum, fum. You might have heard it. I've heard it in English, but we are going to hear it in Catalonian. And fum is a word that means smoke, but it may refer to the sound of a drum, it may refer to the strumming of a guitar, it may refer to the playing of the fiddle, it may refer to the noise of a rocking cradle. Basically, there is not a consensus as to what the fum, fum, fum in the song means. I suspect that it's what we call a vocable, which is like la la la, just a random singing noise that you get often at the end of choruses, especially in older songs. So here is Fum 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 by Cor Madrigal featuring Mariah Barrera.
Come on.
That was the Catalonian Christmas song, Fum, Fum, Fum. One of the lyrics, one of the verses says, "First we go to church." So let's do that. And here the Troparion of the Nativity. As I mentioned last week, a Troparion is one of the main hymn styles in Orthodox Christianity. So here's the Troparion of the Nativity, which is in tone 4. Now, I know this one in a very, very basic tone 4, which goes, "Your nativity, O Christ, our God, has shone upon the world with the light of knowledge. For thereby those who worship the stars were taught by a star to worship you, the Son of Righteousness, and to know you, the day spring from on high. O our Saviour, glory to you." Pretty standard tones, fairly boring. But as I mentioned, the tones in Byzantine music are more of the scale that you're singing in. So here is a much, much fancier one, sung by the Pokrov Chamber Choir and recorded in Neuchâtel, Switzerland, conducted by Andrei Goryachov, and the solo by Anna Senina. That was the Troparion of the Nativity, sung by the Pokrov Chamber Choir in Switzerland, and it was in Slavonic, and it was Slavonic style chant, which, much like Western music, tends to have lots of harmonies in it, but also the melody is, and I say this as someone who sings Slavonic style chant every week, quite boring. Now, the other older form of chant used in the Orthodox Church is Byzantine chant, which doesn't have as many harmonies but has really ornamented melodies. So we'll hear some of that in a moment. This is the other sort of common hymn style in Orthodoxy, which is a kontakion. So here is the kontakion of the Nativity in Greek, sung by Deacon Orestes Varonis, and English by the Comfort Sisters, and it was sung in Ohio. So here we go.
He Parthenos imero toni parosiantikti kaiitos pilon to prosita prosai metapimenon vaxalosim maithe metasteros aniparosim demas varayanethe pedioneon aproionon theos.
On this day the Virgin bears him who surpasses all their sons, and the earth holds forth a cave to one beyond our approaching. Angels sing along with shepherds, praising his glory. Wise men come, led by a star, they journey to find him, who for us is now brought forth as a newborn baby, yet he is God before time.
That was sung in two languages, Greek followed by English, but here is a song that's also sung in two languages but interwoven. Technical term for that is macaronic. So this song is Ein Kind geboren in Bethlehem. I hope it's called that. I've probably pronounced it wrong, as I usually do. It's in Dutch, but the chorus is in Latin, and it basically covers the entire Christmas story. So here we go. It's sung by Jan de Wild.
Een kind geboren in Bethlehem, verbliedt alle Jeruzalem. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. Die Sonne nam die mensheid aan, die bieden Vader komen kan. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. Gabriel, die engel kwam, die jonkvrouwen doeden zoon gewan. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. Een bruidegom uit zijn kameren, gekomen zonder jammeren. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. des eeuwigen vaders zonnekijn. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. Die os en de ezel, die hebben het geweten, dat dit kind is Jezus geheten. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. Engelen zongen toetertijd, die herderkens waren mede verblijd. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. Die mensen in der eerde mede, en die geloofden kregen de vrede. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. Koningen kwamen uit oostenlanden en brachten met hem oerofferanden. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. Ze gingen daar tezamen in en groeiden dat nieuwe kinderkin. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. Met de engelen willen we zingen en laten ons herten in gouden springen. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor. Amor, 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 quam dulcis est amor.
That was Ein Kind geboren in Bethlehem, a Dutch carol. So, I don't know why I said so, let's go to Canada, where Jesus Ahatonia, also called the Huron Carol, is Canada's oldest Christmas songs, written in 1642 by Jean de Brébeuf, a Jesuit missionary amongst the Huron people. It was written in the Huron-Wendat language to a French folk song tune, Une jeune pucelle. Many of the lyrics derive from Huron religious and cultural concepts, with Jesus born in a lodge of broken bark, wrapped in a robe of rabbit skin, and surrounded by hunters instead of shepherds, and visited by chiefs from afar who bring fox and beaver pelts. The melody has a small range, I'm told, and is thus suited for instruments with a limited range, such as the Huron flute. So here's Heather Dale singing Jesus Ahatonia in Huron, which is an indigenous language of Canada, in French, and in English. Jesus Ahatonia, Jesus Ahatonia, Estenya Hyante Tanwe Jesus Ahatonia, Anna wa te wa doki nan wanda swanenta, and non shen squatri hotat non wandi han rashata, Jesus Ahatonia, Ahatonia, Jesus Ahatonia, Jesus Ahatonia. Ayoki hong king ha she han ya ye han no, yam tong kun ta tian den jo sen za don la han yon, wari hun na wa kwe ton jo sen za don ha horon yon, Jesus Ahatonia, Ahatonia, Jesus Ahatonia, Jesus Ahatonia. Chrétien, prenez courage,
Jésus sauveur est né. Du malin les ouvrages à jamais sont ruinés. Quand il chante merveilleux à ses troublants appas, le prêter plus l'oreille. Jésus est né, Jésus Atonia, Jésus Atonia. Oyez cette nouvelle dont un ange est porteur. Oyez âme fidèle et dilatez vos cœurs. La Vierge dans l'étable entoure de ses bras l'enfant Dieu adorable. Jésus est né, Jésus Atonia, Jésus Atonia. Let Christian men take heart today, the devil's rule is done. Let no man heed the devil more, for Jesus Christ has come. But hear ye all what angels sing, how Mary maid bore Jesus King. Jesus Atonia, Jesus is born. Jesus Atonia, Jesus Atonia. Three chieftains saw before Noel a star as bright as day. So fair a sign, the chieftains said, shall lead us where it may. For Jesus, you told the chieftains three, the star will bring you here to me. Jesus Atonia, Jesus is born. Jesus Atonia, Jesus Atonia, Jesus is born. Jesus Atonia, Jesus Atonia, Jesus Atonia, Jesus Atonia.
This was a Huron carol, which is a Huron's indigenous language of Canada, sung in Huron, French and English. Jesus Atonia, meaning Jesus was born. So let's hear another song that has the same title, which is the Czech carol Narodil se Christus Pan. I notice that has pretty much the same number of syllables, so I suppose you could sing that to the tune of Jesus Atonia, or maybe not. Anyway, the text and melody of the Czech one come from the oldest preserved record, which was in Latin and Czech and written in the 15th century, but some historians do date the song to the 13th century. I have a couple of notes here about the melody itself. There was one particular change that I won't bore you with. So let's hear it. A Czech carol, meaning Lord Jesus Christ was born. Narodil se Christus Pan. Lord Christ was born, sung by Kristina Danilova, accompanied by the Moravia Brass Band. We've spent a lot of time in Europe today, so let's head a little bit closer to Australia, to the Philippines, and we'll hear a song called Kasadya Ning Takna, which is in Cebuano. It was composed in 1933 by Vicente Ruby, with lyrics by Mariano Vestil, and a Tagalog version, Ang Pasko ay Sumapit, was written by Levi Celerio, but is not a true translation of the original, and he didn't credit the other two guys, so I thought we'd hear the original version. Well, the original language anyway. The lyrics are fairly general. They just speak about a happy time, feasting, New Year, etc., etc., all that good stuff, so let's hear it.
Awit nga alam dun sa tanang Pasko, magpalipayo. Awit na kalandungan sa kalang Pasko, magpalipayo.
This is 5EBI 103.1 FM, Adelaide's multicultural broadcaster, and the show is the Tune Tapestry with me, Rachel Hay, where we tug at the threads of traditional and classical music from around the world and discover the connections. This week the connection is obvious, it's all Christmas. We've been spending the last half hour listening to songs that are about Christmas in general, so let's get into some specifics. Specifically, Christmas trees. Now, I am allergic to pine trees. I come out in a really nasty red rash if I touch one. If I'm surrounded by pine trees, I struggle to breathe. I dread ending up in a room with a Christmas tree, a real Christmas tree. So to all you people that have real Christmas trees, consider the people with pine allergies. What was I saying? I've gone off track. Sorry. We're going to listen to a Finnish song, Juhlapuu on rakennettu, which means the Christmas tree is built. It was first published with the name Joulukuusi in 1876 in a schoolbook, with the instruction to sing it to a folk melody that was well known at the time. The lyrics are considered childish, and thus it's apparently mostly sung at primary schools and at family parties with young children. It talks about the Christmas tree, the candles, the Santa, the generally happy Christmas season. So here it is, a Finnish song about Christmas trees, sung by the Kandamino Choir. Juhlapuu on rakennettu. The Christmas tree is built. A Finnish song, but of course one of the most well-known songs about Christmas trees would have to be O Tannenbaum. Interestingly enough, it wasn't originally talking about a Christmas tree. It was based on a traditional folk song completely unrelated to Christmas, but it became associated with the Christmas tree in the mid-19th century. The modern lyrics were written in 1824 by Ernst Anschutz from Leipzig, and the Tannenbaum is a fir tree. Doesn't actually refer to Christmas or a decorated tree, but rather refers to the constancy and faithfulness of the tree, in contrast to an unfaithful lover. It's an evergreen tree, so it doesn't lose its leaves. Anschutz added 2 more verses of his own to the traditional first verse, and this coincided with the popularization of the Christmas tree as a custom. So at some point in the 20th century, the lyric changed from treu, meaning true, to grün, meaning green. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you on the topic of O Tannenbaum, so let's hear it, well, the melody of it anyway, played by André Rieu and his orchestra. Tannenbaum is faithful, the fir tree is faithful because the leaves stay green, which is remarkable if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and it's winter. Of course, Christmas in summer is when trees are green. And we also don't have many deciduous trees in Australia, possibly because it doesn't snow. I'm talking about snow. Even though I live in Australia where there is no snow, there are plenty of Christmas songs about snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas and in the bleak midwinter, and so on and so forth. I'm sure you've heard them in the shops for the last 3 months. Let's go to Estonia. Labe Lumi Sahiseva is an Estonian song, as you would assume in Estonia, with the words by Johan Arvik, the melody by Jay Jansson, and it talks about sleigh going through the snow, decorated trees, Christmas food, and presents. Let's hear it. Was an Estonian tune about a sleigh going through snow, decorated trees, Christmas food, Christmas presents. Sleighs going through the snow. One of the really popular Christmas songs in the English-speaking world is Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, over fields we go, laughing all the way. We even sing it here in Australia. There is no snow in general, but at this time of year specifically. So rather than play Dashing Through the Snow, let's hear the Aussie Jingle Bells version by Colin Buchanan and Greg Champion, Bucko and Champs, from their album Have a Ripper Aussie Christmas with Bucko and Champs, which I do recommend that you get. It's a great album. Get it for next year. Listen to Australian Christmas songs. We'll hear more Australian Christmas songs, not by them, later, but for now, Aussie Jingle Bells.
Dashing through the bush in a rusty Holden ute, kicking up the dust, Esky in the boot, Kelpie by my side, singing Christmas songs. It's summertime and I am in my singlet, shorts and thongs. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Christmas in Australia on a scorching summer's day. Hey! Jingle bells, Christmas time is beaut. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a rusty Holden ute. Engine's getting hot, dodge the kangaroos. Swaggy climbs aboard, he is welcome too. All the family is there, sitting by the pool. Christmas Day, the Aussie way, by the barbecue. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Christmas in Australia on a scorching summer's day. Hey! Jingle bells, Christmas time is beaut. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a rusty Holden ute. Come the afternoon, Grandpa has a doze. The kids and Uncle Bruce are swimming in their clothes. The time comes round to go. We take a family snap, then pack the car and all shoot through before the washing up. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Christmas in Australia on a scorching summer's day. Hey! Jingle bells, Christmas time is beaut. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a rusty Holden ute. I said, oh, what fun it is to ride in a rusty Holden ute.
That was the Aussie Jingle Bells by Bucko and Champ, because here in Australia we do not have snow at this time of year. So we're now into the seasonal Christmas songs summer edition, having heard some winter ones from Europe. But we're leaving Australia for the next song, actually, and going to South Africa, where they have a Christmas song called Somer Kersfees. I hope I've pronounced that right. I don't speak Afrikaans, but it means summer Christmas. It mentions the Southern Cross. Let's listen to it, because you can't get enough summer Christmas songs. It's sung by Afrikaans Herlei, which I think is a competition that finds for aspiring young singers and has them sing a traditional song. So here it is, Somer Kersfees, Summer Christmas in Afrikaans.
Welkom o stille nacht van vrede onder die suiderkruis. Wyl stemme uit die ou verlede oor sterrevelde rig. Kersfees kom, gee aan God die Schenk ons 'n helder somer Kersfees in hierdie land, o Heer.
Hoor jy hoe sag die klokke baie in uwe ouwe taal? Kyk selfs die nagtelike soeie vertel die ou
ons die dag gedenk. Toe hy sy seun aan ons gegee het, ons grootste Kersgeskenk. Christus ons, Christus ons, gee aan voor die eeuw. Schenk ons 'n helder somer Kersfees in hierdie land, o Heer. Christus ons, gee aan voor
was Sommerkerstfest, an Afrikaans song about a summer Christmas. Traditional one, it's quite an old one too, which can't be said for a lot of the ones in Australia, like Santa Wear Your Shorts. Quite modern, not very carol-y. But we do actually have, in Australia, 15 Australian Christmas carols. They were published in 1948. And I'm going to read you a section from my great-aunt's memoirs. Now, she died before I was born, but from page 67 of her memoirs, which is talking about 1954, so 6 years after these carols were first published. It says, another memory of Summerhill is that it was there we were introduced to and sang 5 Australian Christmas carols, words by John Wheeler, music by William James. The old carols are linked with the landscape of the old country, in the bleak midwinter, for example. But these Australian carols speak of the new country. There are the Three Drovers. Across the plains one Christmas night, 3 drovers riding blithe and gay looked up and saw a starry sight, more radiant than the Milky Way. And on their hearts such wonder fell, they sang with joy, Noel, 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 Noel. There's the lullaby, the silver stars are in the sky. There's the rollicking Christmas Day, the north wind is tossing the leaves, the red dust is over the town. There's the carol of the birds. Out on the plains the brokers are dancing, lifting their feet like horses prancing. In the blue ranges lorikeet calling, carols of bush birds are rising and falling. Orana, Orana, Orana to Christmas Day. And Christmas bush for his adorning. All the bells are gaily ringing, birds in every tree are singing. Let us in the golden weather gather Christmas bush together. As you can tell, I know all these songs because this was my great aunt, but my mother's family has always sung these songs, and they're not very well known. I've only met like 2 other families who know these songs, and I think they should be better known because it's far better than singing about the bleak midwinter if you live in Australia. This has been Rachel Hay on her soapbox of opinions. Anyway, let's hear The North Wind, sung again by Bucko and Champs.
Tossing the leaves, the red dust is over the town. The sparrows are under the eaves, and the grass in the paddock is brown. As we lift up our
basically at the end of the programme for today, which means we're also at the end of our adventure, this year anyway, through Christmas songs. As I mentioned last week, there are so many Christmas carols and Christmas songs in the world. There are so many that I didn't include, that I wanted to include. I didn't even include some of my favourite ones, because this is the Tune Tapestry, not Rachel's favourite songs. I could spend a whole year sharing Christmas songs with you, because there's so many. But we will be returning next week to the usual Tune Tapestry programming, where we tug at the threads of traditional songs and the tapestry of traditional songs around the world and find the connections between them. I haven't quite decided next week's topic yet. My mum wants to hear about bagpipes from all around the world. There are a lot of bagpipes all around the world. So maybe it will be maybe it will be bagpipes, maybe it will be something else. Who knows? But I hope you've enjoyed the Christmas songs, and I hope you'll join me again next week, 8 o'clock on Wednesday, for more of the Tune Tapestry. And stick around for the next 2 hours. You've got Dieter. After that, you've got Ewart. Their programmes are always great. And until you hear from Dieter, here's Andre Rieu again with O Tannenbaum.